players know, JT, some of those contingent on JT's back, how he's feeling out there, taking swings, so that looks good. Took grounders today. Everything I get from the training staff from JT, he'll be ready to go on Thursday, so that helps as far as solidifying the positional player side of the roster. But as far as kind of announcing extra position players or relief pitcher, we're not prepared.
Does this year feel different than the last couple of full seasons when you've been here? Do you feel more prepared? Has the experience helped prepare you for this?
I think that experience certainly helps. Most of our guys have been through this. Obviously, there's some young players that this is going to be all new to them. But it's, I think, top to bottom, it's the best team we've had. But the most important part of this is you still got to go out there and win baseball games and play good baseball. But I do think the experience, the successes, the failures as far as the World Series and not finishing, I think that's at the forefront of all of our minds. As far as kind of the carrot out there or the focus. But we're in a good place mentally. Obviously, with the game on today, the wild card game, kind of got an eye on that game and watch a potential opponent. But like we've talked about before, it's playing good baseball and competing against ourselves essentially, regardless of the opponent.
How do you know Joe Kenley from
Joe threw a bullpen today. I think it was a 20-pitch pen, and I saw it from afar. And it was fastball, curveball, changeup, and I got the thumbs up from him. So I didn't have a conversation. I saw it come out of the hand. It was good. The effort was there. So he'll be ready on Thursday, in whatever capacity, whatever role.
Dave, you said this is the best team of last year. Why is that? Why do you say that?
I think that if you look at the pen, we're going to carry 8 guys in the pen, and there's a lot of guys in the pen that get righties and lefties out. You have starters that are in the pen that you trust, that can execute pitches. I think that if you look at the roster, we've always been dynamic and versatile, but I think this is our most versatile roster. And the way that Walker has taken a step forward, another step forward, Hunja, the year he's had. So I think that if you're talking about the starting pitching, which I think we're number 1 in the National League in the big leagues as far as starting pitching. The at-bat quality has been consistent throughout the year. So I think that, 1 through 25, we're as good as we've been. But, once you're playing a game and get to the postseason, that really, you still got to back that up by playing well.
Dave, your guys, with all due respect, seem a little taciturn this morning. Did they wake up that way? Have you been trying to motivate them in such a way that they have the game face on awfully early?
Yeah, you know what? I don't think that it was. I don't think that's manufactured. I think that there's. We understand the importance and what we're trying to do, and so it doesn't call for me to have a meeting with guys. Obviously, we clinched earlier in September, but I think guys are ready to start playing playoff baseball. And so to keep a group that's been to the World Series 2 years in a row focused throughout the regular season, I'm not saying it's that difficult, but it's not easy. And guys waiting to get to the postseason and winning 11 games in October. But it's just, I like that focus, I do. And that's what it is.
Dave, any concerns? You haven't really played a meaningful game since June. You've been ahead by so many games this year.
No. I think that there's different ways to go about it. As far as, I think, obviously last year playing 163, and I think the last couple years prior, it was that we played better, bigger lead, clinched, maybe not as early, but I think that we understand the importance of these games coming up. But I think the way we've played and attacked these last games, the last couple weeks, shows we are preparing for the postseason and not sort of thinking these games are meaningless and kind of sleepwalking into the postseason. We're ready to go.
When you said 8 pitchers, does that mean you're carrying 11, or does that mean you have a distinct game 4 starter?
Distinct game 4 starter. Rich is going to start game 4, and how we align 1 through 3, we haven't decided yet. Or we have decided. Sorry, Bill.
Yes, how the home and road split that for the offense this year for the rookie?
Well, each one of those guys pitches better at home. So that's sort of weighed in, but I don't think that's the ultimate decision maker. And so yeah, the splits matter, but I think that we're digging a little bit deeper than just the home and road.
You said that the rosters are kind of decided on for the most part internally, and the players know. Is there anything that the outcome of this wild card game would decide?
No. I think that with the left-handed bats, the right-handed bats from both teams, obviously the Nationals rely more on their starters. The Brewers, kind of their pen. But I think that with our roster and having guys like Corey, Cody, Muntz handling left-handed pitching, so the mix and match, the platooning isn't much of a factor as far as putting together a roster.
Dave, how comfortable do you feel sort of regularly using Clayton's throw day as a relief opportunity?
I wouldn't say that won't be commonplace, but I think that for him with the potential layoff after his last start in San Diego, this is something he asked for, and I think that the exercise was good for him to heighten the intensity of his bullpen day, but also appreciating the fact that there might be a time in the DS or the CS for him to come out of the pen. So he's done it before, so it's not like something that's new, but I think that, appreciating that, it made sense to us, but I think that that's certainly not ideal.
Dave, knowing that Rich is only stretched out so much for game 4, and how many of those 8 guys do you think could be starting pitchers in disguise, or guys who will be starting pitchers down the road?
Well, I think that we're comfortable with Rich going 4 innings, and I think that that right there, when you look at it, 8 guys in the pen, makes sense. Rich hasn't pitched out of the bullpen in quite some time, so yeah, you're looking at Kenta, Julio, strip guys that have been starters, but we see Rich as a starter. But with that, there's a situation where I could see him in the pen for games 1 and 2, if there's a potential matchup, and for him to essentially use that, even getting hot as his bullpen, or to come into a game, potentially get an out or 2.
How agonizing is it to leave a guy off the roster?
It's tough. It's tough because I think that, it's one of those things that all these guys have been invited to the dance, and once the invitations are handed out, they're essentially left at the doorstep, and we don't see it that way. But you've got players that have a lot of pride and feel they can contribute to the 25-man roster. You've got families that are excited for their sons, and so I think the thing is, my messaging is understanding that things could change going forward, whether it be injury or matchup based. But we've used, 50-something guys this year, and we need every single one of those guys. But those conversations certainly are very difficult, and you got to be sensitive to that.
Hey, let me ask you this every October. If you don't win it all, it's a season of failure.
I was waiting for that one, Bill.
Yeah.
That's a tough one. Obviously, right now where we're at, what we've accomplished, we have a chance to be the best team in Los Angeles and Dodgers history. And the wins we've accumulated this year, it means something. It means a lot. Getting the ring first time since '88, we have another opportunity. Takes a lot of people to get to where we're at right now, and the ultimate goal is to win 11 games in October. To look at it as a failure certainly be very disappointing. I just think that it's tough, and not taking it lightly in the sense that we don't expect or anything less than a championship would be unsatisfactory, and that goes without saying. But to take away, to say that what everyone in this organization did, from scouts to player development to staff to players to coaches, if ultimately we're not the last team standing, to say that it was a failed season, I think that takes away from a lot of hard work that people did. But our only goal is to win a championship, and the fans deserve it, the players deserve it, and we are equipped to accomplish that goal.
The last 2 years change your perspective on that at all?
The ultimate goal is to win a championship. I know that. We know that. I just think that there's a lot to get through a major league season and to have the successes that we've had. But we haven't accomplished the ultimate goal. Perspective changed. No. I think that there's nothing worse than losing, in the postseason and not being the last team, especially when you've got the best fans in all of sports, close to 4 million fans that come here to support us, 81 dates, and so their passion, it goes deep into generations. So I wouldn't feel that it's a burden. We feel that responsibility to do right by them, to play 27 outs, to bring a championship home to them, because we play well at home for a reason, and it's because we draw so well. It's just, our goal is to win a championship, and anything less would be a huge disappointment for all of us.
The stuff you guys have been through the last 3 years, winning elimination, being on the road, extra inning, World Series, all that, does that become now an asset? Been there, done that, nothing can surprise you kind of asset?
I think I think in the best possible way, it's a been there, done that, and understanding that the goal hasn't changed. So there's certainly no added pressure. It's about going out there and playing baseball games. So this is nothing new to us. The expectations from everyone hasn't changed. From ourselves. I mean, I think that we expect more from ourselves than anyone. And so individually and collectively. So that mindset of we've already been there, done that, now just continue to go out there and execute and play good baseball, that nothing changed. I think that certainly helps, how we prepare.
Dave, can you explain a little bit how some of the rookies have impacted the team this year? Kind of a couple starters, a couple pitchers, even more.
We've got a catcher who had called up in the middle of the year, who had a call in an apprenticeship last September, and going to catch a postseason game, and so that doesn't happen very often. So it's a trust that we have in Will, and credit to the guys in the room that have made him feel comfortable and excel and be the best version of himself. Because young players, a lot of times when you get into different environments, the big leagues, you have a sense of trying to prove yourself, and there's a lot of voices, new voices. There's that third deck that you're not used to. But to make a guy feel comfortable and feel like he can kind of go out there and be himself, there's a lot of power in that. Gavin Lux, this is a guy that is going to be on our roster, and he's going to play. So he's earned it. I like his head, the athleticism, and so again, it's kind of in the Will Smith bucket as far as how he can go out there and play and be himself. There's a lot of guys that Beatty hasn't had a lot of opportunities. So as I'm kind of talking through the roster a little bit. But It's a great group, and I say talent-wise, but also when you have guys like David Freese and Justin and Clayton and all these guys embrace these young players, we're going to need them to win baseball games, and our players realize that.
How would you assess the Kenley dancing heading into the postseason? Is there a scenario in which someone else fits
I don't see that. I think Kenley is, I know Kenley's our closer. I don't see that as an option. And the goal is to get outs. And he understands that. I think that the way he's throwing the baseball, he's shown that recently. And for him to just stay focused and execute pitches, we'll bet on the results. And he's done it. And I want him to have the ball at the end of the game.
The issue with Corey at all, you can have the game.
It was just more precautionary, and I appreciate Corey letting us know and us getting ahead of it. And so right now he was out there taking grounders, and he's 100%. He's ready to go.
Your concerns with Turner are strictly the fact now that his ankle healed up.
Ankles healed up. It's just the back, and he took some swings in San Francisco on Friday in the cage, felt fine, and just felt that to take a couple extra days off of it, a few extra days to then reset, recalibrate today was the best course of action. Our training staff supported it, and so right now where he's at, I feel very confident that he'll be able to perform at his level come Thursday.
Is there anything you saw with Kenley these last few weeks that maybe made you a little bit more firm in saying that he's going to...
I think that the outside voices, noise, distractions were starting to bleed into his head as far as sequencing, opinions on his performance, and we got him back to eliminating that, and some self-induced. Most of it's self-induced, to be honest with you. And so he's got to get back to just pitching and worry about executing pitches. And that right there, I think he's done that. And if he continues, which I expect to do that, the results will be there.
How solidified do you feel about maybe the guys who will pitch ahead of him in sort of 7th and 8th inning situations?
I think that I know we have a lot of good options. Obviously, Kenta, Pedro has been great for us all year long. There's a lot of guys, I look at the pen and they're high leverage guys, every single one of them. So obviously you see Kalarick as a guy that's a left on left specialist, but outside of that, our guys I feel can get both left and right out, and they're all high leverage guys. So the guys pitching in front of Kenley, the starters starting the game, I feel very comfortable, very confident.